In other lessons, we've only had the variable on one side. Now today we're going to do the variables on both sides. So it's on both sides because you have a's over here and a's over here. So the first thing that you need to do is put one of the a's on the other side. So what I do is I take the one that's smaller, or not going to make it negative, and I'm going to subtract 4 a's from each side of the equal sign. So what happens is these two will cancel out, and 9a's minus 4a's is 5a's. Then I'm still going to have a plus 2 equals negative 18. So now it becomes a two-step problem where first you want to subtract 2 from each side. So I'm going to subtract 2 here and here. So now you have 5a equals, this is negative 20. So divide both sides by 5. And a is negative 4. That's my answer. Okay, number 2. There's two ways that you can do this. You could divide by 4 first, or you could do the distributive property. This one does not have two variables on each side, so I'm going to divide by 4 first. This cancels out, so I have x plus 1 equals negative 9. And then I subtract 1 from each side. X equals negative 10 is my answer. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, this one, number 3, we have b's on both sides. So first I'm going to simplify both sides. B plus 15b is 6b minus 15 equals negative 8b plus 13. Okay, see how I have b's on each side? I need to either get rid of this b, 6b, or this b. So what I usually do is I want to get rid of the negative. So I'm going to add 8b to each side. That cancels out. And I'm going to add 8b over here. So I'm going to have 14b minus 15 equals 13. So now this is a two-step problem. So I add 15 to each side. This cancels out, so I get 14b's equals 28. And then I divide both sides by 14. So b equals 2 is my answer. Okay, and let's look at 4. So 4, you have k's on both sides. This one has a k, and this one has a k. So you could subtract 5k minus 5k, but the side's going to be 0, which is okay, but I think it's faster if you get rid of 3k. So I'm going to subtract 3k. This cancels out because 3k minus 3k is 0. So now you have 16 equals 2k's. And then you're going to divide both sides by 2. So k equals 8 is your answer. And now let's try to look at these problems. Okay, so I have n's on both sides again. So first I'm going to combine these two n's. So I'm going to have 5n minus 22 equals 7n's. Now I want to get my n's on both sides. I could subtract 7n, but the side's going to be 0. So instead I subtract 5n from both sides of the equation. So these two cancel out, and I get negative 22 equals 2n's. Then I divide both sides by 2. So n equals negative 11 is my answer. Okay, now let's try 2. This time I have x's on both sides. So you could either subtract 3x or add 9x. I'm going to add 9x so I don't have to work with negatives. So I add 9x. This cancels out. So 7 equals 12x, because 3x plus 9x is 12x, plus 19. Then you need to subtract 19. So negative 12 equals 12x. Divide by 12, x is negative 1, is my answer. Okay, let's go to 3. Okay, so for number 3, if you could either divide by 2, but then I'm going to have a fraction over here, or you can do the distributive property. So I'm going to do the distributive property. So it's 2y minus 14 equals 3y. So I'm going to get my y's on the same side. So I could either subtract 2y or subtract 3y. I'm not going to subtract 3y because I don't want, it's easier for me if I don't have 0 over here, so I'm going to subtract 2y. So I subtract 2y right here, and I get negative 14 equals y. So that's solve for y. And then number 4, you have e's on both sides. So I'm going to push this 3e to this side. So I'm going to subtract 3e from each side. So 2e's equals negative 18. E equals negative 9 is my answer.